Well, it's not the first time I'm trying this, but let's try it today. What we're doing right here is temporary power to test out things like ECM link and ECU, make sure the gauges are hooked up. And tonight I also brought along my double DIN Pioneer. So watch for the sparks here. This is tons of fun. Alright. Key's in right now, it's the buzzing. Here in the engine bay, we have the JDM pivot razor thingy that I hooked up, along with all my powers and grounds. So that came with this nifty little groundy thing here, so I can ground stuff from, I did the fuel rail since that goes to the head, I did one at the throttle body, and then we'll still have the other grounds, main ground to the transmission, and the secondary smaller ground to the transmission over here to the frame rail. So what I want to test tonight is, I've got the vacuum pump hooked up to the SCG1's absolute pressure sensor, or gauge pressure, whatever you want to call it. I also want to check that the light comes on the Dynatech, which is fully hooked up. So, without further ado, this is my wiring mess here. There's so many wires that come out of the SCG1 and the MTXD. So I've got oil pressure and temperature in one gauge. Get rid of this. And then the SCG1 itself is wideband plus air fuel ratio gauge plus boost gauge plus boost controller. It's many things at once here. So I'm trying to route all the wires up over, so when I install the dash back, they'll be there. They all have disconnects here as well as at the ECU, in case I have to do anything like take them out, readjust them, get to the wires to hook up the computer, things like that. So let's do accessory. The gauges are hooked up to the ECU, so they won't see power until the ECU comes on. Alright, well, we got power on the radio. I only have the rear speakers hooked in, so I don't know where the power button is on this thing because it's brand new now. Is it this big button here? Oh, I guess it is. Let's try radio. Oh, well, the factory speaker is still on that door. But what about my rear speakers? I don't hear anything out of them. And they're hooked up. Well, that's not a good sign. I knew the antenna's in. At least I thought it was in. I thought the antenna came out. Maybe it did. Oh, bear with me for a second here. Oh well. Alright, well, I guess we don't get to play with the radio right now. It's on FM, right? Yeah. Maybe the antenna's not hooked up in the rear. Oh, we're getting something. How about if I just keep scanning?
I'd like you to do another song
90.9, that's
song
hot.
that you wrote, and you
How about, where's Fader?
It's called I Want to Be Your Man. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about writing this?
Let's do,
Well, Wanna Be a Man is on the
100% rear. Maybe it needs a lot more volume for them. Or they're not working at all. That's awesome.
before, hey baby, I want to be a man. And even right then, like, want to be a man, that's the hook, so. Just write it from there. And you
Alright, I guess I got some work to do with the radio, so let's shut that off. How do you shut it off? How do you shut this fucking thing off? Alright. Alright. Key on, ready? Alright, we don't have an oxygen sensor hooked in. We obviously don't have fuel pressure, oil pressure or oil temperature. So that's all good there. And what I want to do is try and put this somewhere and use the vacuum, my vacuum tester, to see if that goes down. So what can I do here? I don't know if I can do anything here. Where would you go? Oh. But if I put it, that's not going to work. There's nowhere to put it. Nowhere to put it. Nowhere to put it. That I could see anything. Oh well.